A triangle has side lengths 8, 14, and 19. Find the angles of the triangle. I'm going to go ahead and draw a triangle here, and it doesn't really matter how I draw it. I'm going to try and do it a little bit to scale. So maybe something like this, where we've got our 8, 14, and 19. And we want to find our three angles. So I'm going to go ahead and label here. We'll call this A, B, and C. So using the law of cosines, because we've got three sides, it doesn't really matter which form we use. I'm going to go ahead and do the A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times the cosine of the angle A. Then we can plug in all of the sides that we know. So we know side A is 8. 8 squared equals. Side B is 14. 14 squared. Plus side C is 19. 19 squared. And then minus 2 times the 14 times the 19 times the cosine of the angle A. So now at this point we can solve for the cosine of A. So we can subtract these two terms here, the 14 squared and the 19 squared. So we have 8 squared minus 14 squared minus 19 squared. That's equal to negative 2 times the 14 times 19 cosine of A. And then we can divide by these numbers here. So we have 8 squared minus 14 squared minus 19 squared over negative 2 times 14 times 19 equals the cosine of A. So that means that the angle A will be the inverse cosine, the arc cosine of this number here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just write that here, cosine inverse of that. All right, so we're ready then to find out what this is. We'll use our calculator to do this. So first of all, I'm in degree mode in my calculator, so that's what I'll be working with, and then we can type this in. So we're going to do our inverse cosine. So we've got our trig button here, and we're going to come down to our inverse cosine. And then we've got this fraction, 8 squared minus 14 squared minus 19 squared over negative 2 times 14 times 19. And that's what we go ahead and hit enter. And we get our angle A. I'm going to go ahead and round to 1 decimal place here. So about 22.1 degrees. A equals 22.1 degrees. All right, so now we have angle A, okay, 22.1 degrees. Okay, now we can go and we can find another angle. At this point, we actually have options. We can do the law of cosines again, just the way that we did. Or now that we have an angle, we have side-side angle, or we have side angle. So we can do our law of sines. Because this is an example about the law of cosines, I'm going to go ahead and use the law of cosines again, just so that we can get comfortable with it. So let's suppose we wanted to find angle B. Okay, then we're going to use the law of cosines, but we won't use this form. We'll use the form that has the angle B in it. Okay, which is B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of B. And then we can plug in everything that we know. So B is 14. 14 squared equals A, 8 squared, plus C, 19 squared, minus 2 times A times C cosine of B. And now once again, we can solve for the cosine B here, just like we did over here, where we subtract these two numbers here. Okay, so we'd have 14 squared and then minus 8 squared minus 19 squared. And then we're gonna go divide by these numbers here. So over negative 2 times 8 times 19. And this is equal to the cosine of b. Okay, and so then we can take the inverse cosine to get our angle b. So angle b is the inverse cosine of that expression. All right, so then this is now what we can go ahead and plug into our calculator. All right, so we've got, again, our trig. Go down to our inverse cosine. And we go and type this in. We've got our 14 squared minus 8 squared minus 19 squared over negative 2 times 8 times 19. Hit enter, and we get our angle. Again, I'll round to 1 decimal place here. So our angle B is about 41.1 degrees. 41.1 degrees. All right, well now at this point we have two angles, and when we have two angles, there's really not much question what we should do to get our third angle. We know the angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So we'll do, to get angle C, we have 180 degrees minus our other two angles, 22.1 degrees minus 41.1 degrees. And this comes out to be 116.8 degrees for angle C.